Talk to me honestly. I'm here. I'm here. Talk to me. I'm here. I've been so far away. I don't know when I changed. Your voice replaying in my mind. I'm not prepared this Talk to me honestly. I'm here. I'm here. Talk to me. I'm here.
No, don't get stressed, it's gonna get figured out. Oh, deep conversations I know I can love. Headstrong father and a determined mother. Oh, that's why some.
What's up, everybody? Sorry for the late start. All right, let's get ready to get going. Okay, quickly, we are moving fast today off the open. We had NVIDIA earnings yesterday. Market moved really rapidly, and we're already trading outside DE bands, irrational to the upside. So I'll be very careful today. We don't just open and immediately start selling. This looks like on those daily charts, you know, I just like to say this, head and shoulder type patterns. Right here, you tend to have these bump up, bump back down. It's probably to retrace and then trade down a little bit more. So Ash and I both were taking monthly maps yesterday, and we were talking about how it's 2 or 3 days down, maybe a day or so up, then another 2 or 3 days down, and then it continues to move. So it's going to kind of wiggle down for a week. So don't be alarmed if it does. We still have VIX in the mix. So being above triple B means volatility is going to be present. So don't be sleeping on that. All right. Market opens in like less than a minute. What's up, y'all? Hit that like button while you're waiting here. Love y'all. let's get the read. You're selling right out the door here. All right, we got a BSU opening up. BSUs are surprisingly bullish on bull side territory. So let me open up here. Just the bottom of the bull zone as long as ZD. So BSUs are fun to trade. Market falls, interacts with the lowest call wall in the zone. DD is positive. The call wall is resistance to the middle of hedge pressure. So there's a big V-shaped move in here. From here back to the middle. If resilience is less than 0, then this is the path we're going to take. And a little bit more corrective downside, of course. We opened above hedge pressure and broke hedge pressure to the downside, so it's irrational, so be very careful. Always be careful trading irrational days. And remember, when you open above hedge pressure, most of the time you try to stay above hedge pressure. There's this percent that you don't, so this could be one of those days that you don't. You open in the bull zone, you try to stay in the bull zone as well. So there's pathways from here to here in case the market, actually, sorry. There's support from here on DD being positive, being bullish, I guess. Sorry, I'm saying that backwards. There is from the middle to here, DD as well to save this. There's also from here to the middle on BSU. There's also a breakout from here. And this requires resilience to be greater than 0 though, right? Since this is in the middle of the box. Now the downside move is 414 to the bull zone. This side as well. Boom, just like that. All right, everybody, smash that like button if you guys are enjoying yourself here. Rocket Scooter, the wave of the future. Sitting your scooters in the outer plate. God, I can't even talk to you. Sitting your scooters in outer space. Strapping a rocket engine on the back of it. That's the way we're going to say it. How to construct a trade plan 101. All right, what's up, y'all? Okay, y'all see what I'm saying? Currently, res is not bullish. We have a hedge pressure break to the downside. Be very careful on this one. So we're likely to push down. Down before up. Easy to see that. QQQ in a similar boat, just a BLU instead. So obviously QQQ will attempt to find support at 336. So there is downside from here to here. There's no evidence that things are pushing up other than resilience being slightly above 0, but with hedge pressure breaks, we needed to be greater than 10 to be bullish. So we're down before up as well here. IWM. Y'all getting good at this. The more y'all are looking to read this. Well, it's not support to hold the market for good, but at least support to bounce off of for a trade, right? So today the market's responding pretty violently after the open. IWM is trying to hold itself. It was the one that moved the least amount overnight, so be aware of that. You will see that you have IWM has pretty much open flat. And it is trying to hold, it is in a mean reversion, so keep in mind. DD is coming down lower. It's been in the 70s and 80s. Now it's 0.6. We're starting to get that deterioration of DD. So from the 8s and 9s. It's still very bullish. Just keep that in mind. So mean reversion, DD tends to break the tie. Any upside from Russell does go to there and sort of hang in there as well. UVXY, double check that. Let's run some stocks. See what NVIDIA is doing today and Tesla and some others. What up, AJ? Yeah. IWM, a nothing. Burger, AJ spread, iron condor time. Let's go. Yep. Barrel long down. There's just that pressure between the two hedge pressures. VIX is neither bullish nor bearish, but it's in an illiquidity pocket. So be very careful. Illiquidity pockets hate the middle when bear zone's above bull zone. So it's going to try to push really far away from it. Clearing this could break hedge, which could mean a collapse day. So if we break 3.5 today on UVXY, be very careful. I don't think that's going to happen. But same thing, if we break 3 1/4 to the downside, whatever shorts are immediately going to zap right back up to where it started. All right, let's look at NVIDIA. The more you do this, the more you use Rocket Scooter, the faster you get at analyzing these things, down before up. That's exactly what we're getting. It gets quick, right? You see, I'm just like burning through them one at a time. NVIDIA bull long up. So NVIDIA, again, I'm not chasing long at the open. Clearly, we've lost the opening price from all the things NVIDIA just had earnings. It is looking to try to relax some of that earnings, if not all of it today. If we do fall to 322, I think NVIDIA moved that far after earnings. That is massive, right? To go like 25% to the highs. So NVIDIA is on its way down here, which could bring the market down itself. Let's look at Tesla, some other ones. How come you can't trade futures on E-Trade? So wait, your question about E-Trade. Let me see. Hold on. Monthly maps is God mode. David, dude, I love monthly maps. I love it. There's nothing like it. I got to demo monthly maps yesterday to a legendary trader. Who's somebody I started learning from when I got started. Like one of those legendary folks you see on TV all the time. And who also was impressed with monthly maps. And I was highly flattered by that. He said they understood every concept I talked about. They said, this is very good. This is really good. The amount of work you put in this is very impressive. It was very flattering, and it was great to hear that from someone I admire greatly. All right. All you need was improved margin account. How come you can't trade futures on E-Trade? So I'm not really sure how it works with E-Trade. Let me tell you how it works with some other brokers. You usually have to go get approved for futures because futures is a separate account inside of your one account. It doesn't seem like it to you, but it is. Two different regulations. You have to sign a different set of agreements. So you have to usually apply for a futures account, even though you have one brokerage account. TD Ameritrade the same way. I know TD Ameritrade because I have history with them. You get a margin account, you get approved, check. Then you go and you have to apply for options trading, believe it or not. That's the way they do it. You have to go up all the way to level 2 options trading, get approved, and then you have to apply for futures after you're approved for options. So you got to go through a bunch of steps, Zach, usually. And that's because you have to sign exchange agreements with the futures exchanges, which is different than just signing up for a margin trading account, like a FINRA account. So talk to them and they'll take you down the path. I'm 90% certain that's probably the case. Because all the brokers you still have to go through and get special. You have to sign exchange agreements for futures data and exchange agreements and risk disclosures for futures trading, and they have to keep a separate set of data on you for entitlement to the futures exchanges versus the data they entitle or they keep for you for entitlement for the equities exchanges and NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, etc. So all these exchanges make you sign certain paperwork to see their data or trade their products. So you just got to go through the hoop one more time, probably with E-Trade. Again, no, that's just with every broker. So don't call me on E-Trade. I'm not really sure about the specifics, but the answer to that question is always call your broker. They'll always be the ones that can help you with that kind of stuff. But don't despair, never fear. There's probably just a step you haven't taken yet. FINRA versus CFTC stuff, as Peter H. said, regulating bodies. There you go. Each one of them has its own. And like a TD Ameritrade, it's like you're trading one account. Well, it's really two accounts, kind of. Is you do have like a TD Futures and TD Ameritrade, and it's treated like two separate accounts inside one. Because they merged Thinkorswim into TD Ameritrade, which had Thinkorswim was futures. Thinkorswim Futures, I think, was the broker at the time. So it's kind of treated like two accounts in one. Yep. Options, your worst possible outcome at least. Wait, any experience with interactive brokers? I have no experience with interactive brokers. They won't let you do futures. I would always preset the stop. I'm reading somebody's comment. Preset the stop loss if it keeps warning me of astronomical margin losses. Even when you are trading with interactive brokers. What do you mean it keeps warning you? How's that work? I mean, it's good that it's warning you about the losses of trading in futures. I mean, that's basically what the exchanges and regulatory bodies tell us to warn you about all the time. My disclaimer up at the front of the stream is like, be careful, you can lose all your money in futures. Like that's good that they warn you. It's probably annoying that they warn you. You probably would like to see it less prominent, but it's good that they at least warn people. It means they're doing it right. Can't blame them for passing compliance standards to the most highest level. But I'm not really sure if its display is like covering over your charts, this thing annoying pop-up. I wouldn't know. You have to talk to them. You know, you just answer questions in your head. You're just getting ready to figure out in regards to futures with TOS. Oh, no problem. Now, not to let me direct you to choosing a broker. In about 2 months, Rocket Scooter will have the availability to trade futures within it to different brokers. So you'll be able to sign up for an account with a partner broker and have your futures data come through and trade futures here. So just letting y'all know that. If you already have a TOS account, at some point we'll be tapping into TOS as well through this project. So you'll be able to authenticate to your TOS account and send orders for futures through Thinkorswim as well by the summertime. Can I trade futures on Rocket Scooter in Canada? Great question. I'm not sure about the legality of operating in another country, trading a US trading account. If you're allowed to do it, I guess that has to do with your you'll know better than I would. You should probably research that, but if you have an account, if you have a US trading account already and you're able to trade it, Rocket Scooter's not going to add any additional limitations. If you somehow are trading inside of a broker in the US, then we just send orders to that broker when you click the button. That's feeding in the broker. It's still going to be on TradingView. So Rocket Scooter is not on TradingView. As a matter of fact, TradingView is inside of Rocket Scooter. It's the other way around. And not all of TradingView is in Rocket Scooter, just their charting. So there's no reason to let me explain why. If our product was technical analysis and some kind of charting gimmick, right? Some kind of automation on charts for like some TA or something, we probably want to build our own charts and spend half a decade doing that. You know, building charts from scratch is a monumental process. Just ask anybody that's built charts from scratch. TradingView, hands down, is probably the best there is. And charts are just a novelty to me. They're completely useless for what I do. They're good to just see on the chart the information that I need. So if I use any technical analysis, like some of y'all obviously do, then charts are fantastic for that, right? So since I don't need them. So since the blend of don't needing them or sometimes need them, it's good to have charts. We need them. But since charting isn't our magic sauce, we're not selling another rinky-dink indicator that's copycat of the million things out there. Why invest any time and money recreating the wheel? Instead, we just bought the wheel from a company that made the best wheel. If I were to build charts, then I'd have to go compete with TradingView. And why go after the Coca-Cola of trading charts? So it's not worth the investment, so we just white label their product. So essentially, we could put anything TradingView has in our platform to skip steps. That's why within a year, we are able to automate 80% of all of our tools, and then by the end of the summer, we'll have the other 20% with futures data. We'll be able to build a full-fledged trading platform with everything, and we'll have the most broker connections of any trader platform on the planet as of that time we release that. And so we did this to get to that step faster. So it kind of, since it does look like TradingView, people tend to think, oh, you're on TradingView. Do I need a TradingView account? Zero affiliation with TradingView whatsoever. So we're a licensed developer for TradingView product. So we can take their white label and build anything we want with it. It's like they make a base car, example, has wheels, a frame, and an engine. We could come in and build anything we want with the pieces. We can have 3 wheels if we want. We get a 5th wheel on there. Paint the car yellow. We can add a 2nd engine. So they have an enterprise solution for companies like us to get any part of their product. You want to buy like a DOM or a watch list or anything, they've got all of it. So they basically made this beautiful web-based system, and we just, charts are such a weak part of our platform. They're the least focusable thing. The idea to just skip 5 years with a snap of a finger was a no-brainer. But 1 year, people are like, well, what if you run out of stuff to do? If we run out of stuff to do, which I don't think is possible, we might decide to make our own charts. But in reality, I'm gonna tell you, it'd be so hard to make something as good as TradingView. Why waste a bunch of money for a lateral, possibly downside move? So, looking for a brokerage that can automate trades based on set parameters. What are you looking to trade, SP? You're trading futures. I'm not sure how TradeStation I think they might allow automation. NinjaTrader certainly allows automation. All the brokers allow automation. Let's start over. It depends on how much you want to code. Almost all of them allow. Almost every broker you can connect to do some kind of OAuth, and you can authenticate and talk to the brokers via some API. Most all of them have it. Now, out of the box, NinjaTrader has it, where you just have to learn like 30 minutes of C# coding to learn how to slam a couple indicators together and automate your trades inside of your NinjaTrader platform. So some of them allow you to do it automated pretty quickly. Others, you have to create your own like app or tool to do so. Tesla coming down, a hedge pressure break. Looking at this, okay. In reality, SPY just getting a nice little bounce there. Resilience is negative. We know. I don't trust that. Not the best thing in the world. Be very careful here. If I were to take a guess, we reject and trade down if resilience is less than 0. Since it is irrational, this is likely to delay, so we need ourselves to be at least greater than 10 or less than negative 10 to give myself some fat on this. If I were still to take a guess, this is going to fight and fight and fight and fight and try to reject. It's not going to crash from here. It's still so hyper bullish. It's going to want to push and test. So 414 is going to come in just a little bit. And the question is, do I want to short from there or not? I'm looking. This is awesome. Sounds like a yes then, as Bartending Trader has said. So like I said, don't ask me for advice or trading advice or investment advice for your brokerage account. So I'm not an investment advisor. Let me just give you the right answer. I don't fucking know the answer to that. And don't rely on a dude on the internet to tell you. Really call your broker. That's the easiest way to get over any kind of hurdles. If you're trading in another country, you should always call your broker. They're the ones legally liable to provide you the correct answer. I'm just a guy with opinions. So my answers are limited by my knowledge, and I have zero knowledge of that situation. But I should. So after you talk to your broker, maybe you can tell me as well. We haven't explored that portion of legality yet because we haven't open trading as well, but obviously we will when we get there. Help your buddy build financial charts from scratch. It was a massive undertaking, as David said, so definitely not worth it. I know, not worth it at all. Like, what we did was we planned Rocket Scooters so abnormally well. And I say abnormally because this is, I've never run a tech company before, much less a software. Hey, we got some movement today. Looks like we got some sparky chart data. Let's watch this. Make sure it's 849. Nothing in the news right now. Okay, just that rejection point. But yeah, so like I was very impressed with myself because I, obviously software is not my background. So running a software company, managing software employees, and managing software projects is something that I had zero experience with. Clearly, my background is in oil and gas, so I used to manage and run all things related to chemicals, oils, and gas. I know how the business works. This one was different. So the idea that we planned it so well, I'm very impressed with, because I had this foresight to understand what was a necessity to invest in and what wasn't. I guess those are just trading skills. What's worth your time and what's worth your money is a trading skill that is universal to all things. So when it came to deciding what we're going to build from scratch and what we're going to white label, the opportunity cost, I just knew that, like, I had an instinctual feeling, because I do also code. I'm not like an 11 out of 10 as far as a coder goes. I'm an engineer that codes for fun. Like I used to code video games when I was in middle school. Like I wrote my own version of Pac-Man once. So like limitations, right? I'm not out there writing like full on JavaScript applications. You know, I hire people to do the specialist part of stuff, but I knew the undertaking it would be to create something like this. And I was like, I don't think there's a return on that investment. And that's just trader thought. Trading skills are universal skills in life. They help you find better deals. They help you be patient. They help you see every time you place $1 on the table, is it worth your time, your headache, your heartache, your money? Is there a proper return, the amount of time you want to make a return, or is there a better return elsewhere for your money? And that is trader skills. So I didn't want to take on the undertaking and making my own charts from scratch. I knew a company that did. I know a company that did. TrendSpider, and it's an amazing product. Like, TrendSpider is awesome as far as like what it does. And I've followed them through the years as they went through the hurdles. Imagine like the hurdles we go through, you know, account access and things like that. Imagine the annoyance of something not working. Maybe data doesn't come through. Imagine just years of hurdles just to get charts working right, because it is that massive an undertaking. And like, you know, props to Dan, and hats off to Dan for building such an amazing machine. It is just like, I know what it takes, and it's like, oh God, that is a huge project. So, SPF zero experience coding. The easiest place for you to auto trade, I would say, would be probably a NinjaTrader, because there's a bajillion tutorials. It's very popular, but it's one of the first retail products that allowed auto trading that was like very mainstream-ish for futures. Again, NinjaTrader is futures, so it's still really small subset of all trading. But at least there's a community inside of NinjaTrader that has like, you know, developers. They make indicators for that platform, and there's a huge coding community. You can collab with a lot of people. I'm sure there's like forums and stuff. So it's a great place for you to learn. And honestly, you can learn how to set up auto trading script in C# in like a week or two, even if you have no coding experience. It is not hard to learn how to set up the few lines of code it does need to take for you to send orders that are automated, and go through a couple tutorials of how to write an indicator. The coding language, C# is it's a full language, so you have all the full avenues to create indefinite things, but you don't have to know everything. Trading language coding is very simple. You have to reference a data array, a string or something, you know, the candle data, and then it's designed to be able to reference that data very quickly. And you just have to know how to reference the data, pull it forward, toss it through an equation, get an output, and then throw in the correct syntax to send the order through. I'm not sure, again, like I said, my experience with NinjaTrader is the very, 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 very small window. I just played with it 6, 7, 8 years ago. So I don't know if it's still, you can still auto trade with it. I'm sure you still can. If it's out there. Somebody here might be able to tell you. What's the backstory of Rocket Suit, or what made you want to pursue the project? You guys did. I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to enter the trading platform business. That never happened. Never happened. I made up one day. I woke up one day. As always, I was already streaming. I was already talking. You know, imagine 2016, 2017, where we had green lines, red lines, yellow lines, right? We had essentially illiquidity pivots and green lines, and that's all we did. And green lines are risk intervals, right? So like I came up with that. We started a little geek club on how powerful risk interval was, and some other tools that we were coming up with. And it was like, okay, I made a Google sheet to share with people. You'd sign up, I'd have to give you access, and it was just this and that. I was like, man, it'd be so much easier if I could make an app. As the years went by, never did it, kept making things, streamed a spreadsheet for a while when I made the kind of rudimentary beginner basic versions of all the tools I've made. Always started off with me building a database and a spreadsheet from data I could extract from something like Thinkorswim, and building a prototype. And so I had a prototype hedge pressure in zones and a spreadsheet that I built by pulling in that live options data from Thinkorswim. And I would stream that, right? And people were like, oh, that's so cool. I wish I could have those numbers on my own. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll just make an app. Let's make an app for y'all. And then I took on the undertaking to build this app to get hedge pressures, zones, and walls to people. And then as the year went by, we invented this thing called Resilience. I had a little applet on the screen for Resilience that we made for like a local host. And then that was pretty cool, and Resilience worked. And then we chunked Resilience in the bottom here. And then now we had an app. And this was the app for the longest time. And then you guys were like, oh, that's cool. But like, can you put it on a chart, or can we trade through your app, or can you get your other tools in the app, or can we convert this to futures? Can we do that? Can we do that? And I'm just like, all right. So then as people wanted more, we made more, and people wanted more, we made more. And then we just said, you know what? Let's go. And then the idea was, you know, I talked to the team and I said, we're going to go the full trading platform route now, because my vision was the pace for my vision was being set by the community. The things that you wanted inspired me to come up with ideas of things that have never been done before. And I was like, I want to do it. I want to build all these things. And so then we pivoted to Rocket Scooter. I'll explain Resilience in just a second. Somebody says, and I'll answer the rest of your questions. So basically, the trading platform idea was born. The company had always been there, the tech company. We just migrated the product from the small app to the big platform. So we started the tech company in 2020, the Rocket Scooter company. In 2020. And then so it was like, okay, so what do I want to build a trading platform for? It's the first thing I told myself. Why? Well, so it's because I want to make things that haven't been made before. So clearly, I don't want to waste time making things that have been made before. I had ideas on integrating a platform with all kind of stuff. Like integration is our key of what we're building this year. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to waste time building the things you've already built before. Does anybody white label the pieces of a platform that are basic? Like TradingView was the best of the best. Contacted them and started from there, and we just built the platform, and we put the charts here and put the small charts here. But it took a lot of back-end work. We already built a lot of the back-end work because the machine that powers just the light app is very powerful. The data pool machines, the black box number crunching machines, all of them. There's a big server infrastructure that just powers this little app right here. So it was just switching from that to this. Okay. Great question, though. Driven by you guys. Y'all wanted it, and I said, all right. Crack my knuckles, dust off my shoulders. I'm like, hold my beer. I got this. You said you will fund the RS account directly or via the other brokers. Via a broker, Michael. So think of it like this. Rocket Scooter is not going to be a broker. Rocket Scooter is not going to handle your money. Rocket Scooter is just going to be a shell application that will allow you to connect to your broker and circumvent their platform. So like you'll be able to trade through TD Ameritrade without having to open Thinkorswim. You'll be able to trade through NinjaTrader without having to open NinjaTrader. You'll be able to trade through you name it without having to open you name it. So we're just a pass-through software, which is what Tradeovate always was until they merged. So Tradeovate was a pass-through software that connected to the Tradeovate broker, which are two different companies, which also connected to like Dorman or Phillip. So like Tradeovate was a software built on top of a brokerage API, just like we're a software built on top of brokerage API. Now Tradeovate's since evolved into becoming a one-stop shop as they merged with NinjaTrader. It's their own software, broker, clearing firm, all in one. So you can think of us as like where Tradeovate was 5 years ago. Just the software that can connect to a bunch of brokers. Although the difference is we'll be able to connect to all the equities brokers. We even found that we can connect to Webull. Boom, boom, boom. For you option traders out there, Rocket Scooter will be taking over the world pretty soon. Which would be awesome. You said TA works to a degree for you. Yeah, if something works for you, use it. Nothing. I'll give you the easiest thing about analysis. Nothing works. Nothing works. Stock market is random. That's the stance of Rocket Scooter. Nothing works. Period. If it works for you, you're actually doing the heavy lifting. You're the variable that works. You're using a tool to see through muddy water. Maybe you're using goggles. Maybe you're using some kind of flashlight. Whatever you're using to see through muddy water, you're seeing through muddy water and making good analysis and good trades. And so nothing works. That's the best way I always say it. So if something works for you, it's because you're doing something right. The tool you're using isn't swinging itself. The hammer's not nailing the nail in without smashing your thumb. That's your skill. And so I always say is like everything works for a trader if the trader's good, but nothing works on its own and does the heavy lifting for you. Zero things work. Because if somebody created something that works, they'd have no, like that works on its own without any trader intervention, they'd have no incentive to take a price cut by selling it to you. They would go milk it all day long for, I don't know, 100 times the price, 100 times the income. So anything that takes away discretionary portion of trading is likely not to work on the retail side. You still have choices to make. Rocket Security teaches you how to make choices. We don't point at the direction of the market for you. We can draw a pretty good wave of pressures, and it's highly accurate, right? But doesn't mean just because you can see it. Like every day, y'all see me coming in and draw on my screen, and it's practically right almost every day. Does that mean I'm sitting here raking in billions of dollars? No, you're still limited by your abilities of a trader to make the correct discretionary decisions and still operate under the emotional stress of a bad trade. So what do you call, Matt, you have what you call a trader's mentality, very valuable mindset. Thank you, Peter. Oh, I guess like anytime you approach business or something as a trader, you're going to think that way as a trader. A couple more questions you guys have. Hitting home sales in 10 minutes. Oh yeah, that came out, didn't it? Oh yeah, let's go. Love talking to y'all. Came in flat, pending month over month. Let's read the history of that. It's been such a lovely month. I can't begin to thank you guys. Rocket Scooter is well beyond its 4,000th user account, which is crazy. I never thought we'd grow so fast, and I mean, I knew we'd grow, but y'all have shown us so much love. We appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for supporting the project, supporting the team. We have a dynamite team, and a lot of them you guys don't know about because they just work at the company and they don't stream. But the team we have is a lot of people just like me. They're visionaries, they're idea folks. They're people who I can just talk high level idea with them and they come back with a masterpiece. Like it's like that kind of visionary mentality that I don't have to micromanage a lot. The people on our team are all phenomenal. And it came from the community. Everybody that works for us is somebody that was a Rocket Scooter member longest time. So all you trader folks, visionaries and traders, every once in a while we ask for resume drops, and we asked for one the other day to hire an executive level director for the company, and I have not begun to start interviewing for that, but I will. So there'll be times where we can open the doors and interview folks for a job, and as we grow, we always want to ping from the community because y'all are some of the smartest people I met, believe it or not. So I'll yell at y'all for some resumes because we want people to have trading experience, Rocket Scooter experience, and of course that visionary mentality that the startup needs. Somebody said, how does TrendSpider compare to TradingView? They're very different products. They're both great what they do. I would not A/B comparison to them because they're both platforms, but TrendSpider has so many more features than TradingView does. They're both great though. They both focus on different things. Now I've never personally used TrendSpider. I just know everything about them. So as far as like how it operates, that I could be able to tell you honestly. Like I've never actually, other than the demonstration they put on at the TrendSpider meetup, they had a computer open. I think I shoved my mouse in there and moved it around for a second. Never physically had an account there and used it, so I wouldn't know to compare them side by side. But I know that the features they have and some of the tools they have are that TradingView doesn't have. So they have a lot more stuff to play with. And they also have the automated part of like, they automate some of the technical analysis for you. So those of you that do charting, it's a really cool tool. Like if you want to draw like automated flags or pennants or, trend lines and things like that, they wrote code that automates drawing on your chart for you. All of those cool chart patterns that if you're a chart pattern person, but you know how I feel about chart patterns. So that's why I never used it. But if I did use chart patterns, I mean, it's hands down. No one else does anything like it. So it's hella good. They They made a killer product that does that. Will they have bracket orders? It depends. Different brokers are going to have different ways to connect to them. At the start, right now, we can have bracket orders. We're working on, let's just say the answer is yes. There is a hurdle in the way of that, but we are working to solve that. We will announce what we can and can't do. So obviously, like if we do multi-leg orders and things like that with our order entry ticket, the answer is yes. We just can't promise you won't pay for each leg like it's a separate trade until we open those doors. So you might have to pay the commission double for a bracket order instead of a so like I'll explain that later down the road, but it has to do with the way you communicate to the broker. So we're actually trying to open those doors for bracket orders, as we had a discussion about that this last week, as a matter of fact. Matt's engineering praying for fun. Let's do the COT report. Let's go. All right, let's read it. Okay, a couple more things. Light trading day. It's a down day, so probably gonna take it easy. I'm not really gonna do much today. Conditional orders rest client side or server side. They're almost always say server side for us or server side with the broker or client side. Which side are you talking about? Are you talking on the Rocket Scooter side or your broker side? So conditional orders typically are always going to be somewhere in the cloud, but also server side for these brokers, because you can put a stop loss in Thinkorswim on your desktop and it appears in your app, which means that data is communicated to the cloud somewhere, stored on the server. They know, but it's not on the exchange. Like the exchange doesn't know your stop loss is there. It's limited to like broker side, but all of our stuff, so it's been bugged all morning. Oh, it doesn't show the TFF report on bar chart. Let's open up the, there's another one. There's a million places you can get this. The CME group has one. Let's open it up. CME, Commander Traders. CME's, no, I've always just used the bar chart one. It's just been what I've always used. The CME one is definitely better and more interactive. The bar chart's just a static chart for the most part. This you can toggle things on and off to make it a little easier to read. The colors are slightly different. So natural gas, let's select product, equity, mini. The reason I like the bar charts is I open it up and it's there. I don't have to go through and fiddle with settings and stuff. But this is more interactive if you want that. Long, short, spread. Let's see how we can do this. It's been a while since I looked at this. Futures only. What does line chart do? There we go. So total open interest. Okay, that's actually shown there. Non-reportable. Okay, so these are the other ones. Dealer, asset manager, leverage, other report. So this is the TFF report, as you can tell from the categories. And let's take a look at it. The hedge funds are becoming more short and then slightly up. Last couple of days, a short's getting squeezed, but in a general trend, they've been short, cover, short, and waves. The asset managers, or the blue, it's blue in this case, are still being buyers here, genuine longs. So people longing, people continuing to short as the two fan away. The market is more liquid, more participants, and of course, anytime the market has consolidated and there are willing buyers, and we know when the dealers hold the bag, which is this red line right here, dealers are in a net positive position, right? A net, the net sum of all dealers is actually long the market. Anytime you have a liquid market, number one, liquid markets don't crash. So when leveraged funds and asset managers are fanning away from each other, like Ving out, liquid markets don't crash. Liquid markets stay the fort. You have buyers and sellers together. There's no reason to drop the price. Look for buyers. Liquid market means buyers are present. So liquid markets don't crash. And number two, they doubly don't crash. And never has the market crashed when dealers have had a net positive position. They simply don't lower the bid on themselves when they're holding the bag. Dealers are all your major banks. Now you have another reportable category. which has to do with like other big reportable institutions like reserve banks and stuff are in here. And you can see that the other reportable categories are amassing somewhat of a net short. Well, typically, this isn't used for the analysis because a lot of these type of trades are not out here directly buying and selling futures for speculative reasons. They're typically inside of some kind of trade, like a complex trade, a swap or something, which allows them to come here and fulfill their obligation to that trade by hedging in futures. So I tend to ignore the other reportable categories because most of the institutions inside of this category don't necessarily speculatively trade. So you're not really looking for, the trick is to look for people that are betting against the market makers who are trying to be neutral. The other reportables most of the time are relatively trying to offset risk anywhere else. So they're like pseudo market makers, but we don't count them. Not really market makers of the market, but they have the same desire most of the time. If that makes any sense at all. So I tend to ignore them in the analysis. Even though they are important. So like, you're talking about like the category. It's like central banks. Smaller banks are also in here. They may not be like large, massive market making institutions. But like credit unions, smaller banks, or if they just don't fall into any of the three categories. So like the hedge funds portion of it, or the leverage funds, it's gonna be a lot of like commodity pools basically, which are like futures hedge funds for the most part. So like people, if you register as commodity pool, which is hedge fund and futures, you'd be in this leverage category. Asset manager company has all kind of institutional long vehicles, 401ks, mutual funds, pension funds, all of that, that's in here. And dealers are just your major banks. That's how that works. So essentially, the way that I read this is the market's still not going to crash. We're good. Good deal. But we're still coming down today. I love it. All right. When I enter ticker for $wing, I can't see the indicators in Rocket Scooter. How can I fix this? What is wing? Well, maybe you don't do the $. Maybe just put in the ticker itself. Like we don't have a $. Designator at the start of the ticker string. Server side with the broker server, I guess, as Peter said, to answer that question. I believe so. Yeah, like if you now conditional orders on Rocket Scooter will be that's a good question as well. Like, if you pass through that price, do we trigger a market order? The answer is I'm going to try not to do that. I want to have zero liability to anybody's trading, right? You're a pass through. I want everything to be from your broker. So the thing is that some things may not be allowed because of that issue. We'll get to them when we get to it. But ideally, like, I don't want Rocket Scooter's data to be what triggers a market order, which triggers a thing, because then now we're liable for some portion of your decision making, because a market order is the platform deciding to fire a market limit order. Sorry, a stop loss is the platform deciding to fire a market order. Automated, right? If you think about it. So ideally, we'd have to trigger you putting in a stop with your broker. So nothing would exist on our end. We would just receive information from your broker that you had a stop there, but it should all be on the broker side. As far as that line is clearly going to be drawn. Did we go to the bottom of the bull zone? Yeah, I think so. There's more questions here. You're on a Spaces chat. Heard me earlier this week discussing hedging with futures. Great conversation. They seem impressed with your insight. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the good commentary. You're so pumped in development, dude. I'm gonna tell you, I'm so excited. I've been having my 2 a.m. meetings again with the dev team to go over all the details of the testing plan. So we are 1/7 of the way through the testing plan, which is a huge hurdle. This has to do with login, authentication, connecting, timeouts, invalid passwords, all the different features that things you will face when trying to log in to a futures broker. That's hurdle 1. So we're finished with that. We sat down last night, reviewed all the logs, and everything looks good on that. So the first step is good. You'll be able to log in. So now we're working on the part where we can generate ticker lists for you. So obviously you have your futures data feed. You have any kind of data feed here. There's a ticker list that's generated. This comes from our server, by the way, this ticker list. Well, it's about to get bigger. As if you have futures data, we'll have to generate a ticker list from you from that broker. So we're working on that part right now. Oh, it's so exciting. I know. I remember like 3 months ago, some nut job came in here and was like, this isn't even a platform. You can't trade through it. I just silently held my lips shut. Our platform is going to have more broker connections than any platform on the planet. As a matter of fact, they're not even a close second place when we're done. We'll have over 120 broker connections. I was just like, oh yeah, no, we just have charting, man. Sorry. Derp. This whole connecting to so many brokers is a, again, not every project we do we're telling y'all about, but that's been in the works for over a year. Making all the connections, getting everything together. We hinted at futures trading late last year, but we never really told people the magnitude of all the other things we were doing. About 120 connections, yeah. Now, the huge majority of them are going to be futures FCMs, right? About 80 so of those, which you probably haven't heard of 99% of them. But futures is a global thing, so you have FCMs in every country. So that's good to allow, that flexibility. There's a couple of majors in the US that we all have used before. But there's a lot of different ones. You have all kind of connections to all places in Europe, Asia, everywhere. We have different FCMs all over the world. Any more questions somebody had when it's because the time frame is too long using a daily chart. Where can I learn how to use Rocket Scooter? Cryogenics, you can go to our extended trial. Go to the description below in the YouTube channel. Scroll down or click this link. I'll type for you here. Go here and check it out. Because for this limited time that we've been doing this, we have an extended trial, which lets you try out the platform for $35 a month and learn everything through all the videos we do. $35 a month. You literally can't beat that. Anywhere. And it's normally $200 a month. So you might as well milk it for 3 months while you can. Click that link. So after 3 months, you will walk away with the most amount of information per dollar you'll ever get. I promise. You'll learn everything comes to markets and whether you stay or go. At least we equip you with some risk management skills. You're gonna love it. I promise. Go check it out. And there's an entire 7-part trading plan. Oh, somebody asked what lo-fi station I'm listening to. Lo-Fi Geek. Let me give you the link to this one. This one's pretty dope. This is like cover songs. Lo-Fi Geek though. I've been listening to them for years. A buddy of mine was like a really famous gaming streamer, and his streams were like super high intensity first-person shooter type streaming. And he would always play lo-fi music while he was dominating people's faces off. So it was hilarious to just have such like a chill atmosphere with someone so like brutally massacring his opponents. So I always loved just like vibing to the music. So I got hooked myself. So that's for you, John Banworth. Lo-Fi Geek. And they have a ton of different streaming channels. So this is the newest one that I've started listening to of theirs. It's a it's called like lo-fi cover songs. I know it's a lot of, you hear like a lot of Adele and Billie Eilish, and I guess that was the Interstellar theme right there, right? Can't thank you enough for building this golden goose rocket scooter. Oh, I appreciate you. Love you, man. Big love for RS Michael. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. It is a monumental undertaking. So when I let you guys know, like, my whole life is around building this platform. Like, I basically take an hour or two off to eat dinner, go to the gym, be a dad, and then that's basically my life. I'll come right back to work. So I'm spending whatever time I am with y'all teaching, training, trading. And then it's, you know, another 10-hour plus day just developing. It is a monumental effort to build this platform and to get it working smoothly with the data working and all that stuff. I mean, that's been it's a crazy feat, but like every single hurdle we've had, we've overcome and then some. I mean, we basically have delivered every time. So I'm very excited because I have a great team. I'm not gonna lie, you know, my team is just very gifted. Even the development team, they're not like traders by their programmers, and they don't trade for a living, but they know just as much about trading from their experience with Rocket Scooter, probably more so than a lot of y'all. Because when I talk to them about different things, they're asking me questions like, so how are bracket orders going to work and this and that. I'm like, how do you know what a bracket order is, right? It's because they read all the documentation and then they figure out, oh, it's about trading. So they go learn and research how trading works on their own because they want to be masters at their craft. And that's what I love about my team. They all want to be the best at what they do. And that reminds me of someone I know. I'm excited. And I'm like, I never trained you guys on the different order types. So it's like, well, I was reading about these ones and I looked it up and I was like, dude, you know, you have the right people on your team when they're trying to master what it is they do. And it just makes me excited. Andrew said it's not populating for you. Oh, the community traders. Yeah, it wasn't working. You need to learn how to use the indicators. Their training videos. Yeah. Oh, I already answered your question, Cryo. Check it out, man. The extended trial, like I said, we've got a massive training program. You'll learn so much, not just about rocket scooter, but about the market. It's definitely worth it. William Sutherland said, unit system testing fine. Oh, yo, Will, I got you hooked up, right? You're good. I checked your thing, and that's on our end. It was it didn't cancel your trial. So I manually did it for you. So I'll tell you exactly what happened. So it should be good now. So like, you guys remember back in April when we had the weird thing, not affected all of you, but in April people starting getting canceled after their first month. Like the system was kicking people out. Like, thanks for staying for a month. Goodbye. We had to like turn something, like we basically, the first thing to fight the fire was, okay, turn off all cancellations, like no automated canceling. It had to do with a bug that had to do when you would upgrade from one package to the other. There was some kind of bug that was happening with the invoices that would stagnate people in an invoice during an upgrade. And then of course, anytime a new invoice went out, it caught that same bug. So your new invoice for your second month went out, it hit a limbo, and then all of a sudden the website was like, well, they didn't pay, so let's kick them out. But the invoice was waiting for input from the website, so we created our own problem. We just decided it'd be fun to kick everyone out of Rocket Scooter. What the hell? It was emergency week. Y'all remember that? So essentially, we turn off all automated canceling from upgrades. So essentially, everybody that would upgrade, we would just watch every day and manually cancel it. So you're the one case, your particular coupon, that we forgot to turn back on. So you didn't automatically cancel your extended trial when you upgraded. So that'll be fixed today. But I already fixed it manually for you, so you're good. I love you guys, man. What's the lo-fi channel? Oh, that was you, John. Okay. Whoa, over 120. Over 120 what? You running to that one? I'm running Halo. Dude, when I'm running Halo, I typically don't have any music playing. I gotta listen to the sounds. I gotta be hardcore about it. No, actually, when I game, I normally listen to metal. Like, I know people wouldn't perceive me as a metalhead, but I listen to like Melodic death metal is like my favorite type of metal. It's typically like a Norwegian style, speedy, screamy singing. It's a lot of things. It's not like your doomy death metal, but it's like really high energy. And I'm the person at the gym that like you can hear the music I'm listening to across the gym. It's so loud. That's me. I sing in a metal band when I was in college. I don't know if I ever told y'all that. You'll never believe me. When I say that, I can scream pretty good. We started covering like Pantera when we got started. It was right out of high school. I had a guitar player that was a Dimebag fanatic. So clearly one of the best guitarists who ever lived. Everyone knows Daryl. So like, you know, he could play all the solos, all the songs. So we started a Pantera cover band, eventually evolved to our own little metal band. Dillinger Escape Plan? Oh yeah, that's old school. Definitely. That was like my high school days. I did cover Pantera. Oh yeah. I did. Maybe one day I'll sing for you guys. Yeah, but in this environment though, like it's so tight on these static accounts. There's just not, it hasn't, I'm waiting for like a good setup just to get that first good trade. Like it's been bouncing above and below the starting point just the entire time. And it's because the entire time it's just been this flat choppy market. And then the time we did rally those perfect trades, I was at Disney World. I missed it. So we're going to make a resilience for IWM. We want to one day. We have to have some big modifications and upgrades. It was a feat just to get the 500 in the S&P. To get now I'm talking about the yellow resilience, then the hedge pressure ones. To get the white resilience shouldn't be too hard. We should actually probably do that because we have all the data for that. It's a pretty quick data feed. Manipulation, but to get 2000 hedge pressures or whatever exists for Russell, not everything has options, be a whole different animal, because to calculate that much hedge pressure at the start and then is a bigger stress on our data providers who choke the flow. And choking is a word in engineering that means when you increase the pressure drop, the flow doesn't increase. Your flow is choked. It doesn't get any faster. It's like drinking a cold milkshake through a very small straw. No matter how hard you suck, it only comes through at a certain rate. That's what choked flow is. So we choked them just getting 500. They literally couldn't push any more milkshake through that straw. So they had to expand to a bigger straw for us. And then we'll have to kind of expand even bigger to get an IWM DD, for instance, and an IWM yellow resilience. But the white one's pretty easy because it's a different data provider. The candle data. The floods solo zip, dude. The floods is great. Now I've always in the camp, and everybody says the floods. So like, if he's like, what are the two best Dimebag solos in metal? And there's two camps, either the floods camp or the Cemetery Gates camp. And I unfortunately am more of a softie, and I like the Cemetery Gates solo, but they're like both masterpieces in my mind. So it's hard to say which one I like. I know most of the hardcore Pantera fans would say like, what? How is Cemetery Gates better than Floods? I don't know. That's the first solo I ever learned how to play on guitar that impressed people. It just has like just when he makes it scream at the end, it's like hair in your arm stands up. It's like, wow. Screamo. You had a foreign student from Norway live with you when you're in Oakland. He was in a death metal band. Dude, I mean, all the best metal bands are from like Norway and Sweden or Iceland. Even my favorite band's not even metal band, but Sigur Rós is from Iceland as well, and they're like this progressive rock. I've never heard of them. They're just like next level music. It's like nothing compares to that band. They're one of my favorite bands ever. You learned Cowboys from Hell on guitar a long time ago. All Metallica standard for every guitar. It really is. Like I had all the Metallica books when I first got my guitar. I was 13. I was learning basically just all the riffs in Metallica are actually, you could probably in 1 year, most guitarists can play like every Metallica riff. It actually sounds cool. Dun, 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 dun. you can get in there. It's not hard. Actually, it's just fast. And James Hetfield plays really fast. And he doesn't upstroke either, which is so weird. After all these years, he plays those riffs. Like when you play guitar and you're picked, as you don't know, you strum down and strum up. So every motion of your wrist is 2 strikes. But Hetfield only strikes down. So it's like he's having to move his wrist twice as fast. And he's an old man now, and he's still doing it in the concerts. Which I never could play that. I always had to upstroke. I still play my guitar to this day. If you trade options, Steve, oh yeah, you're going to love what Ashton does for sure, Steve. Steve M, talk to Ashton once you sign up for the extended trial. Steve, if you're still here. He'll teach you infinite ways to use options and monthly maps, which we should do right now before we get out of here. Monthly maps, still clean and bullish. Bearish, still bear side deteriorating all the way through the first 2 weeks of June. We still have a nice clean consolidation. So this is likely a head and shoulders type thing. The information we saw yesterday, which showed the 2 days down sort of mentality, it doesn't seem like that's here anymore. So we've cleared that out, and now we're likely to hold the fort and still possibly trend up. So I'm out of the camp of we're going to sell off from here. If it does do that, it's probably going to continue to go fill this gap and then maybe higher highs before it sells off some more. That's my thought. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it a day. I got to run. I'll be back to do a Zoom call at noon, which would be 1 o'clock. Hold on, let me double check on that. I'll let you know. I have to make a quick errand around that time, but as soon as I'm back, or maybe before I go, we'll do a Zoom call today. Thank you guys for tuning in. No trades today. Looks like we're trading down. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Market's not really doing anything spectacular. Like I said, I only look for good setups. I don't have to trade every day. I like what I see. I'll trade it. If I don't, I'll sit out. It's Power Rocket Scooter. Plan your trade before you make it. Not gambling anymore. Not just throwing money on a roulette table, hoping for the best. I can see the direction of the market. I can see the flavor of the market today. Kind of see what it looks like. It looks down-ish. It doesn't really give me clear signal on good, strong pivots. Overshoot pivots, VIX above triple V. We pressed into irrational territory on a hedge break today on Russell and S&P. Yeah, these things are irrational. Why fight it? Look, for the last hour, the S&P's bounced up and down 10 points. That sounds like a headache I didn't have to have. Kept my blood pressure low. Now I'm going to have some fun. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.